Okay, so today's video is all about installing a 12-volt outlet in the back of my truck. So the next time I go on vacation, I have a place to plug my cooler in and when it's sitting in the back of the truck. So if I help you out in any way, if you're watching this video, you learned something, help me out by liking and subscribing, and we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks for watching. Alright, so welcome to the Jerry Rigger channel. Today I'm going to be putting an outlet in the bed of my truck so I have a place to plug in my cooler. But I bought this one because it had the longest wires. I figured it would be easy to just buy everything at once. But I also bought this one because I like the way it looked. This one of course doesn't have hardly any wire. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to cut this off. I don't think this is really worth anything to me. Use this and I'll just plug it right into the back of this one. But I was trying to think of the best place to put it in the bed of the truck. Since I don't always have the topper on, I didn't really want it just completely out in the open, you know, like over here or something where water would be constantly running on it if it was raining. So I think I'm going to use that cubby hole back there. And the thing with this one, you know, I don't want to just drill a hole. You know, I'm going to drill a hole this size, right? But I don't want to just drill a hole back there because, you know, there's the gas tank there, or the tube for the, you know, where you put the gas in right behind that. So I'm going to pop that off and, you know, take a look at it, make sure everything looks kosher. And then I'll go ahead and drill my hole with it out. That'll be easier for me anyway. Get it mounted, and then I'll just be able to drop my wires down through. Now, one thing I don't like about this one that I bought, you know, because it's all assembled. No matter what you do, you either have to cut the wires to get this through. I mean, you can't just drill like a little hole and just have this hanging out because, you know, you've got this already stuck on this end. You got this already stuck on this end, so but it doesn't matter for me anyway because I'm going to be putting in this socket. But just something I thought I'd mention. All right, so just looking at the shape of this, it kind of drops down in the back, which tells me this was probably, you know, tilted. You know, it probably tucks in at the bottom and then the top snaps up. So I'm hoping I can just pry down on this a little bit and pop it out. Sure enough. All right, and that's nice. So you can see right there's where your gas tank funnel's coming in. I don't know if you can see that or not. On this side, there's absolutely nothing. Of course, below here is of course the wheel well for the tire, but I've already got down and looked up underneath there. Right below here, there's an opening. So all I gotta do is drop that wire right down through there after I mount it on here. And I can put those screws in after I install this. Sorry about the lawnmower. The neighbor's mowing his lawn. This came with a little pack of really small screws. So I'm going to find a drill bit smaller than those threads. That's what I'm going to use. One drill bit there, right? Another one here. I'll go ahead and cut these wires. Set that aside for future use. This is 14 gauge wire, so I'm going to hook it on 14. Strip it back. So I'm going to use the blue terminal, since blue is 14/16 wire. All right, this is 14. All right, you want to see it just, I always like to see it just stick barely out. Again, you got your 14 terminal. Squeeze that. That should hold on real tight. We'll do the same thing with this side. You know, if you make the wire a little too long, you can just trim it a little bit. You want to try and keep the wire about the same length though, because you're going to plug them into the same spot. Make sure it's tight. Tug on them, make sure they don't come loose. Alright, we know the red is the center. Right? You look down in there, you got a center and you got the sides. The center one is your positive, your red one. And what we'll do though, first, is we'll go ahead and put some heat shrink over that. It's going to be too big because it may or may not shrink down. See, I've got this. I could probably stretch it out a little bit with the needle nose. Another little jerry rigger trick I learned is you can stick needle nose in here and kind of pry open the needle nose. That'll stretch this stuff out a little bit. Alright, so this is what I was talking about. You take your needle nose, you stick it in the end of this, and you kind of stretch this out just a little bit. Then you slide your heat shrink tube over it. Same thing with the other side. So this is why you watch the Jerry Rigger channel. It's because I'm always doing some crazy, stupid thing like this. And one day you're going to run across something like this and you can say, oh yeah, I remember Jerry Rigger did that. Alright, so I can't find the lighter. I'm hoping I can use the match. Shrink it up. I think that worked. Alright. That's why I call it heat shrink tubing. It's great for that kind of stuff. So now, I just have the wires running through here. I can go ahead and put this on there. Alright, so this came like this. The thing I noticed is it's got a cutout back in the back side. So I'm thinking this should be on the other side. And there's no lock point here, but if I put this here, I can bring that up through there. I guess when they sent it to me, it wasn't assembled correctly. That makes more sense. All right, so I'll go ahead. Get nice and tight so it doesn't move. I don't think that's going to move. All right. Red to the center. Black to the outside. All right, so now I can just set this in here. I can drop it back in. And once I get it back in here, I can go ahead and put the screws in. I'll have to grab a short screwdriver for that. I'm dropping the wire down through there. So you can see the wire hanging down there. Right in front of that wheel well. Looks like the fuse is caught on something. Alright, there we go. Alright, so once I get this put through there, there's going to be nothing there holding that wire once it goes down there. So I'm going to drill a couple holes here, and I'm going to put that up there and wrap a wire tie. Just to make sure that these wires don't get pulled out. All right, so I got a couple holes drilled down there. I'll put that in there. I'll do like this. Push that in. Bring it back out. I feel a little more confident that wires won't get pulled out. And get some light on it. Not sure how that's working, but alright, so I've got this pulled out. Once I get it in, I'll put that on there, but for now, push the wires in first. Get it up on the ledge. Snap it into place. Of course, there goes the light. There we go. Alright, so this one just started by hand. Look at the back one just started by hand. Well, there we go. It's all mounted in there real nice. And I think I'm going to go on this side. That way I can go on the top of this. what I'm seeing is every place these cross members are over here, right where you got these cross members, there's an open space behind it, and this is actually kind of a cradle. So if I run the wires behind that, hopefully you can see that. It looks like there's plenty of room to do that, so I can just run it right down the frame. All right, so once I get down to here, it does box in, so I can go up over the frame here. Again, just wire tying it in random spots to try and get it up into that engine compartment. It looks like there's plenty of stuff to wire tie it to. Just got to keep it away from brake lines. Okay, so it's a good thing that I got the longest wires I could find, because I just had enough to get it up here to the battery. So I'll hook one side to the battery, the other side to the ground over here. While you're running that wire though, make sure that you keep it away from anything that gets hot, and that includes, you know, mufflers, tailpipes, and you know, brake lines. They can get hot too. So I'm going to use a stripper wrench because I'm in a hurry. This is 14 gauge wire. I'm hooking it onto a 10-12 connector. Actually, what I'm going to do to make it work, I'm going to cut it back and fold it over. Right. All right, there we go. All right, so I doubled it up, so now I can get a good tight crimp on that wire. Now I do need to make sure, because I'm hooking this directly up to the battery, that I unplug whatever I got plugged into this when I stop the truck, just because it's going to wear the battery down if I don't. All right, there we go. Now, that terminal looks like it needs to be cleaned anyway. All right, so one of the reasons I'm so paranoid about making sure you don't get the wires close to something hot is because years ago, my sister, she didn't have much money, and she had a handicapped child. She needed a van, and these really nice people knew her and said, hey, I got a deal for you. I've got a van. It was a nice conversion van. It was an older conversion van, but they were willing to sell it to her for $500. And it only had 30,000 miles on it. And there was one catch. She couldn't turn on the headlights. Because every time they turn on the headlights would flash. So my sister, she, you know, of course, she brought the van over to me to take a look at it. She said that the people that had it, they'd had it to a couple of mechanics, nobody could figure it out. It took me about 2 hours to figure out that somebody had installed running boards that had lights along the side of the van. And when they ran the wires, they ran it over the tailpipe. And of course, melted the wires and shorted the lights out. So every time we turn on the headlights, it would flash. So I just went ahead and cut the wires, and the headlights were working again. All right, so I got a couple more wire ties to put on, but I'm sure you guys can figure out how to do that. So, but I'm hooked up to the positive, I'm hooked up to the ground. All I got left to do is a couple more wire ties and test it, and should be good to go. All right, so if you learned anything today, I helped you out in any way, please help me out, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching the Jerry Rigger channel.